some stories I don't tell because I don't know I say it all the time. I don't know the statute of limitation on that. I have no idea what the statute of limitation is on that. So that story won't be told.
This is a good one. I am Jesse David Fox, senior writer at Vulture and author of Comedy Book. My guest today is Ali Siddiq. We discuss what it takes to be the greatest storyteller alive, if not the greatest storyteller in the history of comedy. Most famously, this has meant the Domino Effect series, an epic, unprecedented collection of 4 specials about what led Ali to pursue selling drugs, him eventually getting arrested for selling drugs, and his time in prison. But Ali is also the most prolific comedian working right now, releasing 3 specials in the year since wrapping up Domino Effect, with many more to come. And it's worth noting, Ali's doing all of this independently, releasing these specials on his own YouTube channel instead of on a major streaming service. So here is Ali Siddiq. I'm here with Ali Siddiq. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
What's the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
I lost an argument to my road manager, Dre. And I was arguing about, like, Dre, I'm not really famous. Dre's like, you are famous. I was like, Dre, I'm not famous. He's like, you are famous. And as we're riding down the street, we turn a corner, and a guy is getting ready to start his route for UPS. And I didn't really think that he saw me because I'm looking down. It's like a really small shot of me, I guess, in his brain. But he noticed, and he ran to the corner as we was turning. He was like, yo, flagging me down. Yo, I love you, man. I watch all your stuff when I listen to all your stuff when I'm working. And then rolled down the window. I gave him some love for sure. And then I rolled the window back up and I look over. I didn't even want to look. I knew Dre was looking at me talking about, I told you, you're famous. You're famous.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to not famous people.
Yeah, that's the thing, I guess. Yeah.
So when we last spoke, it was a year and a half ago. You're about to put out Domino Effect 4. Now that you have some distance from that project, what did it mean for you personally to do a series?
Just wanted to make comedic history. I wanted to do something to set myself apart from every other comedian that ever existed. Just to do a 4-part series of a continuous thing that's not based upon topics, current topics or politics or any of those things. I just wanted to do it about myself. And long form, just put it in a perspective where people would listen to long form, not just clips, just, bring somebody into a story and want them to continue to want to hear this particular story and the lessons that you learn from the story.
It's interesting because it's like essentially what you're saying is what we've learned from television for forever, which is like there is a benefit to the payoff if you are more invested over time. And I do feel like Domino Effect showed people that, which is like the ending of Domino Effect 4 means so much more if you've seen all of them.
Yes.
It captures a particularly, let's say, trying time of your life from 10 to 25 or so. Having done it, having it be received has it helped you move on? Like, do you think about that time period less than you did now that you've put those out?
No, I actually kind of go back to that time period all the time. That's what keeps me motivated, to see how far I've come from that stage in life to now. And when things get hard, I just go back to, it's one of those things when you going through something, and you always think, this is the hardest time in my whole entire life. And then you go back to like, no, 12 was pretty tough.
Yeah.
So, I try to lean on those things. And I always remember being incarcerated. Always. I think that's how people end up back in prison because they forget what it was like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I'm pretty much gonna, if something happens, let me go back to this one. Like, nah, man, it's not worth it. Because you still, things still happen.
Yeah.
That could, even when you just live in a regularly good life, you could end up incarcerated for traffic.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely wanted to hurt some people in traffic. Like, hey, when did you know that you needed to go right? When you was all the way in the far left lane and you went over 3 lanes and almost ran into me and my child is in the car, like, yo, I want to kind of hunt you down a little bit. Is it worth it? No, but it's the feeling. It's the initial feeling.
Do you feel like there's more you want to say about that time now that you're like either stories that you forgot you had or just generally you're like, oh, I even have more perspective than I did then?
I didn't tell all of the stories. It's more stories to be told in that because, I'm there 6 years.
Yeah,
so it's definitely more stories to be told. But I put out 2 more specials because I didn't want to. The reason why I never talked about prison in the beginning because I didn't want to be cast typed. Oh, that's all he talk about is prison. So after 17 years, I did, Mason got on Boots. Then I did the Mitchell story, and then I said, well, let me dive into this series. Let me go through it because people was asking, well, how did you get there? Now, do I go back and do the how did you overcome being there stories? Because it was some things that happened there that kind of molded me as the person that I am now. Because, I was very young when I went, so I still had some years to grow. And when I watched shows, I was like, yo, that's not how that actually goes. Do I go back and correct society? Even with the preconceived notion of how people think about prison and what they think happens. And I was doing an interview with somebody else, and then they put in there, I was talking about how I didn't do something. Then he cross-referenced it with somebody else that had been to jail. And then that person said, oh, that's fraud. That's cap. So I heard about it, and then I reached out to him like, yo, don't start no beef with me and somebody else because, one, that person was locked up in a different state, and then you were locked up in a different era.
Yeah.
So I went and researched that person. Yo, man, you went to prison in 2015. You don't know nothing about the 90s. Nothing. They didn't even have canned goods when you went.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the top of a roast beef can will do and what I can make out of that. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Is it just like I wouldn't speak on the 80s. I wouldn't speak on the 70s. Who am I to say what they were doing in the 40s? I wasn't there in the 40s. I was there in the 90s. And I know what happened in the 90s. And I know what wouldn't have been tolerated in the 90s. And then the other part is you don't know me. And I always put this in perspective. I've been in the streets since 1987. And when these dudes be talking this street nonsense, I'm like, what was you doing in 87? Because I know what I was doing in 87, 88, 89, 90. See, I went to prison before New Jack City got big. So you mold yourself after New Jack City. I was already New Jack City. So I was like,
inspiration that these things were based on.
I'm like, you are a person that got out whatever. But my thing is, I don't want to talk about being destructive or glorify being destructive to a community. That's not my goal in the stories. But to have to defend what I'm saying against somebody who wasn't there, and then you started your little reign in 2015. I was like, that's almost comical.
Yeah. So that's why you were like, maybe I need to go back.
Or if we go back to 87 and come up what the streets was like in 87. 87 was a different time. It was just a different.
Can you give me an example of what that means?
In 87, there was no such thing as the snitch thing. No, we knew people who had unalive people that was still walking around. They was at the corner store. Like we know what you just did at this park down there, and you went and got some Cheetos. with no even thought of somebody telling. It wasn't even a thought. Who's going to jail? And then because it was another street person, it definitely wasn't told.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been somebody innocent or somebody who was just a random guy, but I know when I did something in 89, it was in broad daylight and people saw it and they was like, that's none of my business. Because what did he do to him for him to jump out that car and shoot that man? I'm like, yeah, he did something. I wasn't like, even with me, when Quincy hit me in my eye, right? I didn't tell my mom. I didn't do none of that. When Charles and them went to shoot up this man's house, they just took me to the hospital. And we at the hospital, we done made up all type of stuff of how this happened. But it's no telling on Quincy. I don't want to tell on Quincy. We need to get our pound of flesh from Quincy ourselves.
What does that then mean to then years later be able to tell the stories about Quincy on stage? Right, obviously you're not snitching on Quincy when you're doing that, but like...
Telling on myself. Like, some stories I don't tell because I don't know I say it all the time. I don't know the statute of limitation on that. I have no idea what the statute of limitation is on that, so that story won't be told. But other stories, I always try to put it in perspective, like, look how the cause and effect happened. Did I do something to Quincy? No, I didn't do anything to him. He did something to me. And then I responded. And then he lived. And then I responded again. Because in my mind, every time I look in a different direction, I see double. I just get mad all over again about it. The last time I saw him, thinking like, okay, Quincy old. He's on a walker. And it was nothing. But I remember a time before that, before I actually saw him, I was with my son and I was in the grocery store and I thought that it was him. This is the most ridiculous thing. I moved, because my son was so small, I moved some chips and I put my son in the chips. I said, you stay right here. And when I'm walking up to the guy, he turns around and said, hey, young brother, I don't know who you think I am. But you might want to let that go. Because he saw the intensity.
Yeah.
Like, yo, because, man, something was about to happen to this man. Because I thought it was Quincy. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I got to let this part of it go. The realization is, I always say I have two birthdays. I have October 17th, was when I was born. Then the 21st is when I got locked up. And the 21st is when I got out. So there's a guy named Kevin that was on my case. He's successful. He has moved on in his life. And Kevin calls me every October 21st since he's been out and say, man, happy birthday. And I say, Kevin, man, you've been calling me for like 9 years. Happy birthday. To my, bro, this is like the best day to me. And he's like almost 60-something years old. I told him, I said, man, I may do another show about that time. He said, yeah, man, because you never mentioned me. I said, I didn't, man, I didn't. But he was the guy that they was actually trying to bust. He was the person that called us and said, yo, I need 5 kilos. And my part, I think, and it's the other part that I never really expressed. I was done.
Yeah.
I had already ran my last run. I was finished. I was on to something else. I'm in college. I'm done. But Charles had called and asked me to go with him. And the whole time I was like, man, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
And then 6 years I'm gone. And it's something in that about following your first mind. And when you done with something, so I started writing a special called Take the Exit. Taking the Exit. And it's about how many times that you have had a chance to stop doing something or get out of something and you just didn't take the exit. You just had to keep going down this road. Getting back to my point about why I put out My Two Sons and Rugged was to separate myself from the all he can do is talk about prison. I really think that the special that I'm gonna drop on Father's Day is probably my best and my most helpful special. I think the all the new ones, the dog and Monday and In the Shadows and Family Vacation. It's gonna be a onslaught of just really good work that I'm very, very proud of to excel past. Oh, you did the series, cool. Are you gonna do another series about the trials and tribulations of just random life as being a comic? That's what In the Shadows is about,
And is In the Shadows going to be multiple parts, do you think, or is it?
Man, it's rough. It's like when I think about In the Shadows, I'm having a hard time getting down. And we filmed it in February, so I gotta get it. Getting down the sequence of events. Like I know how they happen, but I don't know how to tie them yet. And it's gonna be that thing that happens like with Domino Effect 2. I never ran it. I just did it. And I never knew how I was going to get past talking about my sister.
Yeah.
It's nothing in me that could even write something to get past that part. Because I knew it was going to just be horrible. That's why I never ran it. Because these are undealt with emotions. My sister's in the audience. My family's out there. It's like, it's a lot. And this is where you ask the creator just to help you. And just let my mind just, something comes to my mind that's going to help me in this situation. And I really relied on that because I'm like, yo, I'm in it now. And out of nowhere, I thought about what did make me laugh at that time. Like, what was the only thing that made me laugh? And I was like, Pops in them Speedos. So I just said it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the story happens. Okay. And that's the one beautiful thing about not trusting yourself. And I don't write anymore.
What does that mean?
I don't write like I used to. I remember having all these notebooks of topics and I'm kind of, I don't even know what I done evolved into because I'm offended when somebody says or refers to anything that I do as a bit. Like, what? Oh yeah, the bit about what bit? I didn't write no bit. No, I can show you books. These are books of bits.
I don't open these books anymore.
These are the stuff. You want to see Domino Effect 1? Here is a sheet of paper. Says start. It's in 1983. That's what it says. And then you go from there. And I have the ending. So 2, I just had the name. And I had a face with tears like, your sister passed. It's going to be bad. So now with In the Shadows, it's me going out saying it and just making a point. I know the points that I want to make, the stories that's in it, and I don't have to write it because I don't have to rehearse it. I just have to remember the story that I want to say. Like, and then it's gonna be stories that I didn't think that I wanted to say that I'm gonna add into it because it happens all the time. But I don't know what I am anymore when it comes to stand up because I'm very offended by certain things.
Yeah, I mean, there was in Mondays, there's a thing that I would call almost a joke. And I was like the first time I remember Ollie's doing a joke in like 10 hours of consuming. And I say this as a compliment. Like, for the most part, the comedy, you are a storyteller where the comedy comes from the characters and the circumstance playing out as they did. And in Mondays, there's the part where you mentioned you have your breadbasket open or whatever, and you say something like he ate like a loaf of bread or something, and you're like, what are you just like doing a joke? So do you, like, ultimately do you, because obviously you were a comedian who told, but do you even think of, like, in these moments where, like, I should probably put something funny here? Like, how do you think of jokes at this point?
I think of them as what I said to the person once the story happened. Like, I remember telling my trainer, James, I said, yo, James, I think he was eating a sandwich. James like, what? I'm like, yo, man, it's like, what? I said, what's this called? The bread basket, right? It's like, he was eating a sandwich. James is just like, and so every time he see Todd, he was like, Todd. He was eating a sandwich. He was like, Todd was like, hey, man, he got it. And Todd is like, if people understand that Todd was getting ready for another fight, like, he was tuned up.
Yeah.
And I get in there messing with this man. Because I thought he looked at me like, and it's
a long story, but for those who see, Ollie sees a person in the boxing gym and challenges them to a fight before realizing they are a professional boxer.
Yeah. And it is, because this is something that I said to somebody. It seems perfect to say, because I'm just giving the conversation, I'm giving a part of the conversation that happened once the beating was over.
A lot of comedians watch this, listen to the show, and just, I think generally people in life have to tell stories. And I want to use this as an opportunity to do almost like a mini masterclass of how to tell a story for people. Because you are arguably the greatest storyteller alive. The first thing I was always wondering is, how do you remember the stories? By the end of next year, you'll have like 15 hours you'll put out. How do you like journal to be like, what's the thing that happened in like 1999? You're like, oh, all these things happen. Like, how do you like even remember you have the stories in your life?
Constant conversation with people. Just living actual life. Like, this is how something to come up with me. Like, obviously, family vacation, I'm going to remember that because I broke my clavicle, you know what I'm saying, in 2024. So I remember that off the top. So then that's current. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they bring up something that happened in 94, and I'm just listening, and I'm like, yo, can I remind you that I wasn't in the Free Society in 94? Oh, my bad, man, I didn't even think about it. So I will go into something that I was thinking in 94, what happened in 94, in my world, and obviously when I get out and I always remember what I was doing in 98, 99, and going forward. But telling stories for 6 years about things that happened before then, before you was incarcerated, it's just me just going back through life. Like, if I asked a person, hey man, what was you like in third grade? You may not remember all of it, but you may remember something significant. Like, I remember the first time I ever liked a girl, like really liked this girl named Tammy. White girl, just gorgeous, right? And my dad, I didn't know that it was a thing. I thought just people was people. I'm fourth grade. I'm not thinking about racial lines.
Yeah.
And I went home and told my dad, I'm like, yo, like this white girl named Tammy, she's awesome. And my dad heard my dad tell my grandmother, he said, he's like, well, and my grandma like, he ain't finna bring no pink toes to this house. I'm like, what the hell is a pink toe? Like, like, I don't even know what this is. And I'm like, cause she's like tan.
Yeah.
Texas. And she was from Tampa.
Yeah.
And this is the first person that ever told me about yellow rice. You know, oh, we don't eat white rice in Tampa. We eat yellow rice. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's so important and so significant in my fourth grade years because this is why I became a flag bearer. Because she was a flag bearer, and then I volunteered to be, because you need two people to fold the flag, because you go out, you put the flag, both flags up, because in Texas, you put up the American flag and the Texas flag. You got to fold both of them. So this is my time to be alone, because you 15 minutes before class starts, you gone. 15 minutes after class, before class is over, you gone. This is my time to be with her.
So then you have these stories. How do you know something's worth telling on stage?
Everything's worth telling. In my world, everything's worth telling if you are in the right vein. And I think what's worth telling is the truth most of the time. I'm never really into fantasy stories because I can tell that it's a fantasy. And I know most people can tell the story's going to drop off because now you're in a fantasy because it has no point. I think what's worth telling is something that has a point to it. The reason why I tell stories is because everything I've ever learned in life was based on somebody telling me a story. When I played basketball, coach would always tell us stories to motivate you in the game. Play football, coach would tell us stories. My grandmother, stories. My mom, stories. My Uncle Mac is the person who gives comedy to stories. My dad always had short stories about how something happened. But my Uncle Mac, this is when a story gets crazy. Yeah, he'll come in the house. Yeah. You know, I just saved this man's life. He was on fire. And I saved him and his dog and everybody. Then when you actually hear the real story, his story was people was on fire, the ambulance came, and he was out there and the news interviewed him and everything. But what really happened was a man was walking his dog, smoking a cigarette, threw a cigarette down, some small brush caught on fire. He stumped it out, and that was it. But my Uncle Mac, when he tells this story, he's definitely Chicago fire. He's definitely backdrafting this story.
I think a lot of people think when you're telling a story, you go like, this happened, then this happened. I think with your stories, it's this happened, therefore this happens. Everything has a reason the next thing has. Is that how you think about how it paces?
How I pace it is based on, cause and effect. But it's also other stories that I add in between the actual story. Like, I go into one story, then it's a story in between that story to get you to understand this part of the story.
Yes.
So we can proceed to this part. So if I'm telling a story and then there's some historical fact that you can add to that. So you tell that part too. I want all of the details in a story. Because even like when something's happening, it's also something else happening too. It's not just this thing happening, nothing else is happening. So it's layered with a lot of facts. So it was a red car with this license plate that was there. And next to that red car, let me tell you how I know this happened. Next to that red car was a Trans Am. And let me tell you how I know that it was a Trans Am, because my dad had a Trans Am. His was tan. And then now I'm going into the story about how my dad tan Trans Am had it. Cause I'm just letting you know the details of how I know all this was happening, because I thought about this Trans Am too. Was this part important? Yes. For the details of the story. I know every scar on the back of my hand. I know how it happened. I know exactly how it happened. When I was in the street, I would recognize every car. I knew who was in the car. I knew the whole thing. And it was important, because if it was a car that I did not recognize, we would fall back. Or if it's a car or a van that was coming up, we don't know if somebody's in something with somebody else, how I could get killed just somebody randomly shooting because I don't know what they into.
Yeah.
So I would always remember if I'm standing right here, yo, did you see this person was out there? No, they weren't. Yes, they were. They were standing by such and such. And you to validate what you're saying, you keep those details in your head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you listen to the police and they put out something, or they put out all this stuff in the news, but you know that there was an orange scarf there, and they were like, well, we didn't put that in the report. Yeah, you a person of interest. We need to see you because nobody knew it was orange. We never put that in the report. How did you know it was an orange scarf there? Because you were there.
It's so fascinating because it's essentially like it's almost like this evolutionary thing of your ability to survive. You had to notice things. You had to be a person who's observant, which it did train you to be a comedian many, many years later. Like your stories are so detailed because at the time you needed to notice things.
Yeah, needed to notice things, and it's consequences in not noticing things.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the same thing in prison, which is like you have to
know the lay of the land. Like, yo, man, what's going on? I have a catalog of things in my head.
Yeah.
And sometimes the story, I just want to make a point. And like currently, I'm making this point about materialism, and I'm making this point about how damaging bootlegging is. Like people, their desire to have something or to be seen in a certain light will make them purchase fake items. And a associate of mine said, well, I don't care about people bootlegging Gucci or bootlegging Louis Vuitton, these big house entities. I don't care about them bootlegging them. I said, you don't care because you think on the surface. My problem with the bootlegging is it becomes a culture of things. So you have this desire to have something. Does it stop at the handbag? Does it stop at the wallet? Does it stop at the belt? Or does it go down to taking my special off of my YouTube page and putting it on your page to monetize it and saying that it's yours?
Yeah.
Does it go down to you putting up a fake image of me and selling tickets online? And now people are in front of the thing and they got tickets that they can't scan to get in because somebody else decided that they wanted to bootleg my tickets.
Yeah.
Because the same person who's buying the fake Gucci jacket is the same person who's scamming the tickets. So in that, there are going to be stories that I'm going to tell because now, before a show, the promoter is coming to me and saying, man, it's a lady outside. They bought 5 tickets and, man, it's just bad. And now I'm like, do we have anywhere to put them? But then now it's the story of, hey, man, I done got so popular, folks scared bootlegging me.
Yeah, it's a great way to open something because people are there and some of them know that they could have gotten scammed. And then it just is like, what are stories that are sort of thematically attached to that? And your brain just probably it's like catalogs them. It's like, oh, this one goes to this one, and that one, that one. How do you think about starting and ending a story? Especially starting, some of your specials start and you'll set up the situations. Like, you realize later that the domino effect lays out the situation. Even when the story you started this episode with, you're like, I lost a bet with my friend, and then you laid out the story. But sometimes you start middle of the story. So how do you think about starting and ending?
When I think about it, it's what's going to draw you in first. So, and we go back to, am I the only person that ever been thrown in the trunk? And you're like, what? And so now it's let me go way back then, bring you how this happened, and then go there. Or so it's 1983. So it's what I think is the draw in, and then I can start building everything around it. So I gotta draw you in first, and this is after the hay.
Yeah.
So, like now, the startup is you have to be proud of yourself, and now I can go back and lay out the stories of what and why you have to be proud of yourself, and what puts me in this perspective, and let me tell you how this happens, and start to go through the rhythm of the sequence of how this makes sense, and giving not just that, making the point and giving you my story in the middle of it. How, hey, this is on me too. It's not just me telling y'all. This is me telling myself too. And that's
and then ending,
the
and then
ending is where I just want to stop. It really is. It's like, do I stop here? If I'm doing a sequel to it, I just stop. I'm giving my secret away.
that's why you have podcasts.
It's if you just see me stop, then there's another part to
Got
it.
it.
If I wrap it up, then that's it. So rugged, like if people watch My Two Sons, there's an ending.
Yeah.
You watch Rugged, there's an ending. But with I'm tipping my hand, with Domino Effect, there's still not an ending.
It definitely ends where it does feel like the beginning of a new thing, right? Because it ends with you being like, I'm out of prison. That's not the ending.
That's not the ending. It's like, I'm out.
And it's just over.
It's like
because an ending of that would be one short story of something that happened once you're out. But you did not do that. You just go, I'm out.
Yeah, it's kind of like Silence of the Lamb. Clarissa will call you back. Something's about to happen. This is the elevation of what I'm trying to create. I still know that people haven't figured out how much homage I paid in Domino Effect.
Mm-hmm.
They never realized the Domino Effect, one, is homage to Richard Pryor. That's why it's shot like that. It's shot like it's in the 80s with the filter on and everything. Yeah. Domino Effect 2, Alfred Hitchcock. That's why it's in black and white. Then 3 and 4, Cosby. That's why the scenes change.
Yeah, like in himself.
It's like I thought, and this is me being very naive. Like they never bring me up for no awards. It doesn't matter what I do because I'm an independent. And the system is like, we can't acknowledge an independent that's doing his own thing. Why would we do that? And at first I would be upset about it. And one of my friends said, something I thought about the other day when we was in the barbershop and people was talking about, man, name your top 5. And people weren't naming you. And then I said, why would they? 101. He said, that's why I'm calling you. He said, man, you should be offended if somebody put you in the top 5. I said, what? He said, nobody's like you. You are one of one. Like, I don't compare you to nobody. Everybody else can fit in somebody else's box, but why would I compare? Bruh, are you actually understanding what you're doing right now? And I'm like, I probably won't understand it until I'm done doing it. Like he said, I was offended when people was talking about, oh, I've never cried in a special, you know what I'm saying, until I saw Jamie Foxx. It's like, well, you didn't see Ali Siddiq like 3 years prior to that? You never saw Domino Effect 2? Like, oh, okay. I get it now. I get why you saying that. I thought comedy was the untapped real space. And I see that it has become tainted with the popularity contest. Oh, this is popular, so I'm gonna say this person is phenomenal. Like how I see it, And no discredit to nobody. It's like, I just don't see what they're talking about in most people. And I watch some comics. It's some comics that I watch. It's mostly the offbeat people that I'm looking at and like, oh, I can see where they're going. I can see this growth. I can see these things because I'm still a fan of the art. I'm not a fan of the politics. And now producing people special. The hardest part of my job as a producer is to tell people no.
Like, no, you're not ready, or no, this isn't
No,
ready.
it's not ready.
Yeah.
If you want me to help you put my pen on it, I will, but this is not ready, man. This is not good. It's just not. Oh, Ali, you hate. Well, then send it to somebody else. Don't send it to me because I don't have, bro, I'm not in competition with you. I'm not comfortable being complacent.
Mm.
I'm trying to grow. But why would I ask myself to do something, then don't ask you to do it?
Yeah, especially if it's going on your YouTube channel.
Especially if it's going on my page.
What is the business arrangement for the specials you produce?
Some of it is I'm producing the whole thing, paying for the whole thing. Then when we recoup, giving you your special back. You know, because most people, they go to another network, they never own a special again.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not going to put $400,000 worth of lights down and you never. Did you charge me for faxing? Oh, okay. So, and I explained to everybody, the money is not the special.
Yeah.
The special is the commercial for you to make the money. That's the
Yeah.
It's so basic. It's so basic.
Let's not lose money on the commercial.
Let's not lose money on the commercial so we can make more commercials, but you have to put these things out in order to put butts in the seat for people to want to see you. And once this is out, they don't want to see this.
Be ready, yeah.
Be ready with something else because that's what they want to see. And I need you to be ready. I need you to be ahead of the curve.
One of the specials you have on your channel is Patrice O'Neill's. You've licensed one of his. What was your relationship with him when he was alive? Do you have a story that captures sort of your attention?
Me and Patrice was pretty good, man. Patrice is one of my regrets. Like people are like, I ain't got no regrets. Like I do have a regret that me and Patrice kicked it 1 year and I featured for him. And Patrice was like, yo, man, you are, this is you not no feature. Like, no, I'm featuring for you. The club asked me, I feature for whoever they ask me for. If I'm in town. He's like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, I'm like, yeah, man. Like, so the next year he come back, I guess he felt like he was really cooking with something. And, and I always liked his stuff. So he comes to town and he calls me. Yo, man, you coming to the club? I'm getting ready to come play the club, playing the improv. I said, okay, cool. An ice storm happens. Like, it's black ice everywhere. It's like 280, 290 car extents in Houston. So I live a good distance from the improv. And he calls, like, man, you coming? I'm like, no. I'm not coming. Like, I'm not. Man, it's just a little ice. Hey, Patrice, listen. It's not about me. I can drive an ice. It's everybody else that's sliding. I'm in a expedition. I'm not going to be sliding into people, and I'm not doing it. He said, call me soft, but I'm not going to use the word that he said. Basically call me soft. He used the P word. And I was like, I don't care. You're not finna Jedi mind F me to come. I'm not coming. Like, it doesn't matter. Patrice, I don't care what you say. I'm not getting out there. Now, he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I always regretted not going.
Mm-hmm.
So, when, the licensing deal came up, They had a group of people. I said, it's on the love of Patrice. Let's just put Patrice's out. You know, not really realizing that it's been out. It's not a fresh new piece of work or whatever. I'm quite sure that it's some stuff that Patrice has out that nobody's really seen. I could put out. But this was a love thing for Patrice. Hey, let's not forget.
Hmm.
If I could do it for Robin Harris and I could do it for some other people, I would do it because it's not a monetary gain for me.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we're putting something out on the channel with these people.
Do you have something filmed with Robin Harris?
No, I said if
I know. I was just like, that'd be
big. I'm like, if Robin, I got Robin. I'm putting, it's just any of these guys that's from these eras that people may not have seen. Then when something else came up and we put out Sidney Castillo, I think, and I'm not, and because I love Sidney, that's my friend. But I think that the licensing thing is a faux pas on my behalf, because even though it's a love thing for them, it's really giving homages to somebody else's stuff. And like I can see that Sydney's viewership on somebody else's site went up because that's the first thing that's coming up versus mine coming up. So I think we just gonna go and stick with all originals.
Yeah.
To keep the integrity of my channel. And I think that's gonna be best for how we moving in the long run.
I don't particularly care, but I find people, for whatever reason, feel the need to ask you about Netflix. And the hope of this question is to then provide an answer that allows it so no one has to ask you about it again. Is there a deal that you would take to, let's say, license one of your already specials to put on Netflix? I just feel like let's settle it so then people stop bringing up this idea that you should need to be there.
I think, until somebody else is at the reign of Netflix, I'm probably never gonna be on there. I don't know what their problem is with me. And I really think that it's something internal, because I haven't said anything or did anything to Netflix. But when you say that my stuff is not, and I think that this is a major thing with me, the excuses. Okay, it's too long. Okay, we don't want this. Okay, we don't want that. Yo, I would rather you just say that you don't deal with me. You don't like me personally, or you don't like my stuff, because you keep putting me behind people, and all you doing is motivating me more to put out better stuff. So I'm not in that wheelhouse where you can just give me any type of money, because I'm not for sale.
Yeah.
And now I'm to the point that I'm thinking it's like this. Because you are the industry, and I've made my way on my own, and people look at it as, hey man, if he can make his way, then, and he can help other people make his way, then we can make it. It's kind of like now you put me in a position to where if I did give you something, it'd be like betraying the fans or betraying the people that look up to me. So I'm not interested in Netflix.
You performed at the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
Yes.
And I'm not looking to relitigate whatever debate that was happening at the time, but I imagine your perspective on the situation is different than a lot of people who were complaining about it, or even the people that went to do it. And I was just curious how you thought about that decision and what the sort of experience was like.
Do you know how simple it was for me? I'm Muslim. I'm finna go perform in Saudi Arabia, and I'm finna do all of my Islamic material. Never thought about the other aspects of it. And when somebody attacked me on the internet, like, you had to think about it, I say, how the freak do you know what I was thinking about? You don't know what my day is like. I had a lot of things going on. I wasn't thinking about the reporter that got killed. I wasn't thinking about the freedom of speech. I wasn't thinking about that. But how dare you talk about I accepted blood money, and I said, fucking, and that no knock to nobody. I said, you fucking white person. I know you're not talking about blood money when this whole goddamn country is soaked on the soil of blood from my people that never got. Man, who are you talking to? Like, what are you talking about? Don't attack me for a decision that I made. Wasn't thinking about all the rest of it. I'm thinking, hey, I'm Muslim. I'm going to a Muslim country to perform Islamic material. I'm not talking about, ain't nobody told me what not to say. I didn't get no list of things not to say. Well, you not telling the truth. Okay, man, I'm not arguing with you. Because see, now you finna make me go somewhere that I don't want to go because the simple fact that you think that that's what was on my mind. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had no thought of it. But then I'm going to assault you back verbally. Oh, you went to Cancun. I went to your pictures. I saw you went to Mexico. So let's talk about you went to vacation in Mexico, thinking that none of this money has nothing to do with cartels. Oh, okay. But did you go to Dubai? I saw a picture of you in Dubai, riding a camel. So you think Muslim Vegas has nothing to do? Oh, okay. But then you sit in this country, and they're still hanging people in this country. They're still assaulting people in this country. But like I say, I can only control the things that I can control. I can't control how people feel about decisions that I make if you don't ever talk to me about the decisions that I made.
How has your relationship to your faith evolved over the course of your life? You've gone obviously at these different phases. How has it evolved? How has your relationship changed as you describe the events of the domino effect to now where you are, a comedian? And I'm just very curious because I imagine it's sort of a complicated or things that you had to figure out your relationship to.
Islamically,
yeah,
versus just I'm Muslim, so it is what it is. I pray, I fast, I do the things, and I think that because I am evolving away from certain things, like 2027, I'll probably be totally clean because I won't be telling the same stories anymore. And I think that within the stories, like I don't use bad words just for the sake of doing it. It's in the story. It's not in my conversation. And I don't drink on stage. I don't do any of this thing. There's water on stage. I don't smoke. It's these things that's already in the principles of what I'm doing. But now the conversation is kind of changing, and I'm trying to figure out how do I balance going on stage and using certain terminologies and saying certain things to get people to understand values and the differences. So if I talk about polygamy, what's the difference between being a polygamist and having a mistress? It's kind of like the same. And then I go past that. What's the difference between being a polygamist, having a mistress, and having a housekeeper? And women be like, having a housekeeper? Well, it's another woman in this house that's doing things for me. It just no sex between us.
Mm-hmm.
Is it based upon the sex or is it based upon the actions? Because if I had a female assistant, we are in a very close, intimate relationship. That she does everything. She knows that she does more than you actually do. And she does things for you as well. So if she gets sick, I care. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's going on in life. It's just, I think that all of this with the American woman is based upon the sexual things, not the other things, sexual things.
Mm-hmm.
And me trying to figure out how do I scale from polygamy to mistress to
and
housekeeper to assistant.
with the hope of, is the idea to make the case for polygamy as not what we think of it as?
Yeah, not, because then you, like, I asked this woman who was arguing with me about polygamy. I said, but you love Game of Thrones. What? You love Game of Thrones? You watch Game of Thrones all the time. So the king is like, all type of wives. It's like, yeah, all type of wives.
I believe you have 3, as we're speaking of 4 specials filmed. You're filming another 3. You put out 4 Domino Effects. You had 2. I literally can't even keep track of how many hours that counts as. That is a level of prolific that, as we said, it's not, no one else is in that pace at all. No one's doing any of that. What gives? Like, is it almost like a compulsion at this point where you're like, I just ultimately found myself like it's constantly to be in a state of producing specials. I think if there's a photographer, Gary Winograd, who realized he just wanted to be photographing for the rest of his life. He didn't care about watching them. He didn't care about seeing the photographs. He just wanted to be doing it. What is happening?
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's like an addiction. Like, I want to do better than the last one. Like, I want to be able to see, can we figure out something else to do? And how many can I do? Like in my mind, like, you know, how many can you do? Like, and at the same time, like Mondays, my father and the dog was filmed in the same 2 days. Rugged and my 2 sons was both filmed in Dallas in the same 2 days. And my toe was broke. It's always
around a lot.
And my toe was broke.
Yeah.
So it's like my baby toe. So, and I was sick. So it was a thing of, hey, can you do it? And he was like, I think I can.
I guess the question is, I hear it. There's 2 things I hear in it. It's either you're a person. I remember when we last spoke. I'll never forget you. How you're like, I feel free. You talk about like something happened, you skipped. You're like, you feel so free, and you're like, especially as a person who used to be in prison, you're like, if you're saying I can do anything at this point, let's see how far anything is.
Let's test the water. Let's see, man. And I really, like you say, man, I really feel free to write anything. And then it's like the creator has given me the finances to be like, yo, man, call the producer, call the director, call the lighting choreographer and say, hey, listen, Joe, get a Zoom and just say, listen, we shooting 5 specials. And just to see their face look crazy. Like, what? And then they got to go and do things. And then I don't turn in any material. So they was like, what are we shooting? You will see it when you see it. Just know I'm visualizing this. And they put it together. I feel so happy because I know if I was on a network, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be happening.
No.
It wouldn't be happening. So to go to a network is to go back to prison. That's how crazy it is to me. Like, yo, and so my mind is like, yo, so y'all said no, right? To one of the things, cool. Watch, I'm finna produce this many specials and I'm gonna help somebody else write a special. And I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, people were like, yo, I don't think that y'all really understood what was happening when he was doing it. No,
Yeah.
You can't tell him now because he's passed on, but it's just the level of work that he put out. Like I read this thing about Benny Hill, right? Benny Hill was phenomenal. Like he's an introvert. He goes into this room, like he don't want to kick it with nobody. He goes in this room and he comes out with The Beanie Hill show, like everything. It's like, no, this is insane. Just the thought of it,
Yeah.
being able to do it, and people not believing that you can do it. Like, I remember this guy, they were like, well, you ain't good as this guy. I said, well, you tell that guy to put up specials against mine. I got 5 right now, like ready to go. Why would you have 5 specials, each over an hour? Why would you have that much material? You got to be stealing. How? From where?
Yeah.
From life? I'm stealing from life? No, stealing is what I used to do when I used to go to the USA Today, and I would go to the part to say 50 states, and I would read a passage about every state and then write a bit from there. That's not my material.
Even if you're writing it, it's so...
Even if I'm writing, it's not my material. It's my thoughts about somebody else's thoughts. If I'm looking at the news and saying, oh, Trump was it, Obama's this, or, Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm getting something from somebody else. But what about what's coming from my mind? My dog. You don't know what I'm about to say about my dog. You have no idea what's about to happen, but I'm telling you, this is the situation. What it's about is my dog. How mad. Oh my goodness. I love white people so much when they say how mad they were. This lady said, I was not messing with you. That is the word she used. She said, I was not. The first 40 minutes of this, hated every part of you. And then. I was like, yeah. And not only her, Eric, the director. Eric was like, yeah, this is my first time seeing this. And I was like, where is he going? What is happening?
Yeah.
And Eric, it's like, man, this was a rough one, bro. And I was like, I know. It was. And I must admit, like, when people see the dog, they're going to have a problem. Especially if you're of a lighter hue or you're a person that loves dogs. You're going to have a serious problem with me. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, I was a little bit rough right there. That was a little bit rough. But that's one of them things where I haven't put out a special yet where you were conflicted with me. Like, it's like, oh, this is definitely the conflicted joint. Like, I haven't put out a special where I dive into the relationship between me and my father. Like, that real relation, not just me moving in with him, the dynamics of it.
Yeah.
And so when I tell those stories, now it was a part in that which brought up the special, my mom. Going into the relationship of how long me and my mom have been together. I've been with my mom through all of her mistakes. Like, I've been there with her the whole time. So doing a special about the relationship of me and my mom and really being open and candid about this relationship, the reason I'm doing both of them, my father and my mom, is to heal people's relationship with their parents. Because my whole thing was, I'm not willing to hold a grudge against them when it's friends and people and other people in the world that I have forgiven. What makes a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife more important than the person who I share DNA with? So I can't find no forgiveness in my heart, none for them. He didn't violate me. He just wasn't an ideal father. My mom, sometimes people hold their moms to these high standards and forgetting that they just a human being that may have made some mistakes, that may have didn't do everything right. My mom, 20 years old when she had me. How much did she actually know? If society says you don't really know anything for 25, so I can't give her 5 years grace, I do acknowledge that she could have left me at a fire station. That was happening then. People was leaving people on fire stations, and I could have been an orphan. People keep writing specials about their other things, and you never and let them do it. That's which is fine. But I'm going to do the things that I think can help people heal in other situations.
So you do domino effect, which is like, okay, it's 4 things that's in order, cause and effect. You're now essentially like expanding the universe. It's like the Ali cinematic universe, right? Because it's like you talked about your mom in this special a little bit. Now, like you talked about your mom a little bit more. And so the special, you're getting a picture of your mom, and then you do a special where your mom. You then are creating these portraits throughout all of it. It's less just sort of linear. It's like this sort of expansive thing, which is that's the thing I was thinking about. It's like you are giving an access, a sort of holistic aspect, access to your life that it is unprecedented. It's not just sort of like, here's my perspective on things. It's really trying to give people like, it's an exercise in having them feel empathetic to the entirety of your life. You mentioned a little bit, is the goal having the body of work when you're done and you want to leave behind it? So when people forever be like, who was Ali Siddiq? It's like, it's all of this.
All this, like you actually writing your autobiography while you still alive. And you putting it in perspective, and then you leaving it for your kids to really know who their father was. You know, even though they grow up with me, you know, but they don't know what made me tick. You know, I didn't find out what made my father tick until after he was gone. You know, which then I got a different perspective. You know, I know what made, I know what makes my mom tick because I talked to her. And that's because I didn't want to have the same experience when my father was gone. Let me know now what makes you tick. You know, what's the lineage? So in the body of work is also to show people, man, how really you can really stretch the lines. If you choose to, you can really stretch the lines. And I'm really living in the advice. So I had that book, I had a book out, Applied Advice, right? Some of the most important parts is, and I think with the comedy, the most important part is DL. Man, DL and Billy D. Washington. Billy D. Washington told me, hey man, when you're not being funny, be interesting. DL said, the funniest you ever be in life is based on how honest you want to be. Those 2 things are huge to me. So let's just be honest about things that you may be good at, you may not be good at. Hey, like it's a part in the new special where I was saying I'm trying to talk to women and I'm very juvenile because I went when I was 19, so my interaction with women stopped then. It's a lot of informal years there, and I'm saying ridiculous things to women, like, hell, you work out, huh? Like it's like it's so bad. No, so it's I'm still growing up. Even though I'm 52, I'm still growing.
So now it's time for the final segment of the show. It's called the Laughing Round. It's like a lightning round, but it's a comedy podcast. These questions aren't even that short, but you'll get a sense of it. Do you have a favorite joke? Like a joke?
A joke?
Yeah, like a street joke, just like a joke. Knock joke counts. I asked everyone this, but it is interesting to see what your answer is.
It's not a joke. It is a joke because it's a scene from a movie. It is the from Coming to America. There's a spoon. I can taste the soup. Where's the soup? Why you can't taste the soup? He's like, where's the spoon at? It's the silliest thing, but I love it.
You have a short story of an interaction with a legendary comedian, living or dead, you are willing to share.
Yeah, a short story. Me and Paul Mooney got into it, and I called DL and I said, hey, I'm about to beat up Paul. And he's like, Ali, you can't beat up Paul Mooney. He's a legend. I said, if Paul Mooney says something else to me, I'm going to beat up Paul Mooney. We at this comedy club. I'm featuring for Paul Mooney, and it's the second day, and I am in the green room to the side, and he's in the main room. He comes in the side room and said, hey, go count the room. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, go count the room. I said, that's not my job to count the room. And he said, all right. Then he left out, and then he came back in like 20 minutes later and said, yeah, you go tell your little white friend that it's sold out. He's talking about the manager, Raymond Cook, the manager of the thing. He said, yeah, you go tell your white friend that it's sold out. I was like, Raymond probably knows that it's sold out. Yeah. Then he he goes back in his room, and I called him like, I think I'm about to beat up Paul Mooney because he keeps saying stuff to me. Saying something to me. So I'm sitting in the showroom. His lady comes and sits next to me, and then she walks off to the green room and she leaves her purse. So I'm coming with her. The show is over. So I'm coming. I don't want to leave my purse. I got a purse, all of his clothes. I come in. I said, ma'am, you left your purse. Paul, like, and she snatches her purse. Why do you have my purse? And Paul like, yes, why do you have her purse? I was like, yo, you know something? Y'all need to get on y'all medication. Cause y'all, man, DL, you lucky DL told me not to beat you up. So then 3 years later, we're in Austin. This black arts and collectives gets us to do a show. I have no idea who's on the show. It's like I'm doing an hour, the other person's doing an hour, and it's me and Paul Mooney. The lady, she's coming. She don't know it's tension. So she was like, hey, Ali, Paul Mooney's next door. If you want to go and speak. And then I just heard her say, hey, Paul, Ali's next door. If you want to go speak? Neither one of us is budging. Like, no. And then, so I'm sitting in the green room, and remember it's a scene on Purple Rain where Jerome comes and said, Morris don't like this. But Paul comes past the room, and then he comes back and leans into the room and said, but he's not even looking at me. He's like, hi, Ali. And then just walks off. I'm like, I said, Dre, was that his apology? Me and Paul was at it.
What's something that people think is comedy that you think isn't?
Crowd work.
Tell me more.
Crowd work is like it's not really comedy. It's just not. I remember I've been around long enough to remember when Joe Torre and D.L. Hughley were getting ridiculed for that. Oh, they ain't got no material. They just talk about the audience. Not really material. It's something that anybody can do. Anybody. It happens in the barbershop. It happens other places. This is like jonesing on people. It's like, and then it's another thing. Why make somebody in the audience feel any type of way that paid to come see you? You know, and then it's even nowadays, the level of disrespect that goes into it is insane. Like, I couldn't be sitting there and then you call my lady a female dog because you're doing crowd work. Well, I'm gonna do some crowd work too. Oh, it's gonna be some crowd work. It's gonna be some individual crowd work being done. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if a comic understands. You know what type of position you putting this man in that you then called his woman out of her name as a man. Like, oh, okay, bruh. You know this is gonna be difficult for you because we didn't come to be a part of your thing. So what type of comedy is that? Like, you gotta wait on an audience to. What do you do? Dude, you that? Oh man, come on, man. Like you disrespecting the craft, like the ancestors of the craft.
Who's the greatest living comedian?
Does it have a criteria? It has a base?
I just asked the question and you decide. Okay. It's in many ways it will reveal what your understanding of the word greatness means.
Oh man. Greatest intellectual comic. Hard to say because I haven't seen everybody, but DL is pretty precise and intellectual. Best situational comic. Alive, Chappelle. I get that to him. Best female, probably unspoken, is Aaron Jackson.
Hmm.
But if you go popularity, I would say Wanda Sykes. If best, like, family oriented, Gabrielle Glace Fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it most manly, like, on man business, Dion Cole. Greatest storyteller, me. Yeah, that would round it up for me. Most, if I had to say, I don't know what I would title her as, but life progression, Ollie Wong.
Hmm.
Because she's somebody who I've seen pregnant, not pregnant, married. It's just like, I've you've seen her life's progression. She's probably the best.
What was the last one? What's the best time you ever bombed?
Never bombed.
Never.
Never in life.
Not even the first time.
Not even the first time. Never bombed.
How is that possible? I know, I believe you, but like, what is it about you? Do you refuse, or you're
I can't. In 28 years, I can never, because being bombing is such a huge. Because I've seen it. This is definitely a memorable time in life. I can't count my first time on stage. That's the only time I've ever been booed. That's why it's in the next series of stories. The only time I've ever been booed was my first time, and that's because I don't count it, because I never said anything. I just said, hey, and then they start booing. I was like, oh, okay. This is what this is. Then, oh, okay. Let me go back. I didn't count this either, but I will. So it is Manhattan Proper. Manhattan Proper in Queens.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Frazier, Rashid, R.I.P. Rashid, Cool Bubba Ice, Rob Stapleton. So I come to the city, and I guess because I'm maybe 9-10 months in, they put me in between. Oh, so Drew's going crazy, Rob Stapleton's going crazy. Then they bring up Cool Bubba Ice. And Cool Bubba Ice got this, I'll never forget this joke. He was like, yo, he dressed like a Puerto Rican couch. He had this crazy outfit on, so you drop a pizza on me, you wouldn't be able to tell. Looking at the outfit, his outfit is crazy. And then he's doing this thing where he's doing all of these voices. Like, he's rapping like LL, Puffy, DMX, and he got this 2000, baby. 2000. He got this whatever the song was. He's doing this song. And then I come up. And they said I was talking too slow. Man, speed it up, man. You talking too slow. I'm like, what? So I'm getting heckled through the whole thing, but I'm still going. And it's only like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So then after that, Rashid comes up and kills. But what they want is all New York stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I never count that, but that's a good one. I'm like, just because it wasn't New York. So I come back to New York 2 years later. Manhattan Proper, Nails. I do like maybe 16 spots, and I'm destroying BBQs, everybody. And I was at Manhattan Proper, and I'm killing. They're like, keep going. And I said, hell no. I remember when I came in, y'all told me I was talking too slow. It was so that's like, so I've always went back to these places and sought my revenge. Oh yeah, that I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that right there because it was, and I never forget that lady. You're talking too slow. I'm like, I did barefoots, footprints is what it's called. I did pig and I did a lot of New York rooms that last run, but that talking too slow killed me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.